Hello, and welcome to the Rollwise Podcast, the show where we talk about things related to tabletop RPGs and stuff. Today, we're actually going to be jumping into a topic related to the Weird West role playing game called Deadlands. And by jumping into a topic, I mean actually going through like a session zero and making characters and stuff like that. So I don't know what the hell I was thinking when I introduced that. So without further ado, we're going to make some characters. We're going to be playing a game. Hopefully, anybody that likes Deadlands or likes Weird West or just likes exploring games they have maybe not seen before will join us on Monday when we do a little bit of playing in the Deadlands. So without further ado, though, I'm going to actually give it over to Brent over
since
one of these screens.
since I will be running the game.
Yep, he'll be taking command of the game or GMing or what do they call it in Deadlands?
You're the marshal in Deadlands.
Ooh, you're the
Yeah,
marshal.
I hate titles.
That's a lot of power, man.
Yeah, I hate
Yeah.
titles in role playing games, but it's the marshal
Okay.
for the GM.
Well, you're the
in
marshal.
Deadlands.
Whatever you
got,
say goes, man.
got to stick strong to that Western theme, I guess. So yeah, we're gonna be playing Deadlands. Deadlands is a Weird West role playing game, which basically means it's in a fictionalized United States Western setting, where there's monsters and spirits and ghost rock, which is one of the main things in the game, which is like spirit rocks that people find and run all sorts of weird inventions. So it's our first foray into. I think this is maybe only the second game we've ever played that's a Western game so far. Um, I think we
What
played
was
one
the first
before.
one?
What was the Fate one that one of our friends ran? Um, I don't remember if it was all of us that played in it though. I thought you were there.
I may have. Oh no, I was there.
Yeah.
That was a
Uh,
Weird West with Fate. I
yeah, and
remember that
Jeff
one
played the
now.
boxer. You played the pugilist,
Hmm.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you were a con man? I
I
don't
might have
remember.
been.
But or shootist or something. But so we don't play very many Wild West games. Because it's kind of a genre that doesn't have very many role playings in. I wanted to go ahead and try one.
Hmm.
So we're going to do Deadlands. So what we're going to do today is run through character creation.
Yeah, and it's also kind of nice because this will contrast with our offline table playing Inevitable, a doomed Arthurian Western RPG. So we'll actually have kind of two different stabs at Weird West in very short order.
I strongly feel like Inevitable still pushes into the Arthurian pretty heavily,
Mhm.
whereas Deadlands is only Western with weird stuff.
Which is
So,
fair.
going into character creation, the first thing that you need to do, like most role playing games, is you kind of have to have a concept of what kind of character that you would like to play. One of the things that, oh, and we are running the Deadlands Savage Worlds. I think it's called Savage Worlds Adventure Edition. Is the
Hmm.
edition that we'll be playing. So if it looks different than your regular Deadlands, it's because it's the Savage Worlds system. So in the Savage Worlds system, the first thing that we kind of need to do is have a concept of what kind of characters that you guys want to play. Which basically any Western concept plus a few Deadland specific concepts are what we're looking at. So advanced concepts in Deadlands would be like a huckster, which is a magician who does his magic based on cards, like poker cards and poker hands. There's mad scientists who use ghost rocks and other things to make inventions. As per mad
Hmm.
scientists, there's also an agent, which is like kind of like the Pinkertons, wandering around in the West and fighting monsters and stuff like that. Um, and there's some other ones, some that I've suggested we don't play in this game, but some other good ones. So basically, whatever concept you want to play from any movie, Western movie you could think of, that's where we need to start. So who has a concept kind of in mind to put you guys on the spot?
Jeff, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
Why don't you go first?
Okay. Well, so because I got to go first, I get to make the original sounding choice. So, I was actually, I don't have a lot of Western, like movies or anything like that in my pedigree, but anything that I have seen with a Western, a very high percentage of them have had Clint Eastwood in them. So I think I'm going to take a bounty hunter approach. Kind of a, roamer of the vast lands, looking for the next poster and turning in bounties to the law and all that kind of stuff. More mercenary than actually upholding the law, if that makes sense. He goes for it for the money rather than any sort of like civic duty or anything like that.
Yeah, that's a good concept. One thing I will say that's interesting about Deadlands 2 is you can share concepts, but your skill separate, like it's all skill generated, so you could be different bounty hunters that do different things. You could have like the pistol bounty hunter, you could have a rifle bounty hunter, you could have a bounty hunter that has some occult skills, like that sort of thing. So just keep that in mind. It's not a game where you necessarily need party diversity, which I consider a bonus. So whatever you guys want to try. So Mike, go ahead and write down your concept on the character sheet, and then we'll go to Jeff for his character concept.
I'm just looking these over. And I did think about Bounty Hunter because it does give us a reason to be, traveling around. But with Mike being a bounty hunter,
The OG.
yeah, you can be the OG.
No, dog. He means dog the bounty hunter is what he said.
Oh, you want to be Dog the Bounty Hunter, Mike? Is that you're gonna wear cut
I don't have enough
the
product in
sleeves
my
off
hair.
of your T-shirt, riding your horse?
A super mullet.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking at the Huckster.
Okay, Huckster's good.
Or
Being interesting.
Maybe even is Hexslinger a related?
I think it is a separate kit later. I think it might be the same thing. Whereas Hexslinger might be a skill.
Okay.
I think Hexslinger is the skill that Hucksters have to take. Let me go.
I think that could be.
look.
I was also looking at Mad Scientist using the Ghost Rock. But yeah, I think I'm going to do Huckster.
Okay. Huckster is good.
All right.
You just look here.
Character concept.
So that's pretty interesting because Mike picked a like general character, which is good and fine, whereas Jeff has picked a huckster, which is a basic character package within the book. So there's going to be some specific things that Jeff's going to be looking forward to get as far as stats and like hindrances and advantages, whereas Mike is going to have, or Jeff is, Mike, I was right the first time. Whereas Mike is going to have more of the ability to be kind of customized. So the first thing that we need to do is just like there isn't much choice. You're all humans, so we can skip that part. That's step one is education that everybody is the human race in Deadlands, unless you're Harrowed, which is you're a zombie. The second one is hindrances. Which hindrances are your character is kind of defined by your flaws. So hindrances are the first things that you're going to kind of look through and pick. You're going to take up to 4 points in hindrances. A major hindrances is worth 2 points, and a minor hindrance is worth 1 point. Major hindrances are things that are fairly big. They have a big impact on your character. One example would be like there's a hindrance called Trouble Magnet, which is a minor or a major. If it's major, you basically, I can randomly have you draw trouble from anything. So Night Terrors is another major one because it impacts your stats as you don't get any sleep. There are specific ones in the Deadlands book if you guys want to look through them, and there's also more general ones in the Savage Worlds book if you want to look in there as well. But you want to pick up to 4 points.
Where are these located in the book?
They're on page 15.
15, yeah.
15.
The new hindrances are. There are hindrances from the Savage World, which is kind of nice.
Keep it simple and not find new ones.
Yep, and I think because we're playing kind of a just a single adventure with this, I'm going to only choose one major hindrance because I believe the idea is that you can choose up to 4 hindrances. if you chose all minor hindrances. And in this case, I'm kind of choosing
Well,
one character or
majors
two
are 2
majors.
points. Majors are 2 points. Minors are 1 point apiece.
Yeah, so you can choose two majors, you can choose one major, two minors. You can kind of mix and match however you want.
Yep.
But I think I'm going to just choose one major, and I'm going to go with a major hindrance called ailing. Puts me kind of at death's door, depending on what it is. But I feel like a guy that is that traveled the Wild West, hasn't really taken care of himself, and you know, smokes a lot. Probably has some bad things happening inside here. Let's say.
Sounds good. What are you going to do with your other 2 points?
I could take up to 4, and I think because it's I think I might just stick with the 2.
You're
as
just
the
going to take
major.
just one major. Okay.
Yep. I mean, I know that they mentioned that flaws kind of make your character, but I think because of the shortness of the adventure, I'm going to just take this one because it could end me pretty quick if I critically fail, I guess.
Right. Well, you get the main reason that you would take up to 4 is there are points you can spend to they go into your character spend. So like you can use the points. So you have 2 additional points now that you can spend to raise stats or skills later. But
Yep.
if you only want to take the 2 points, that's fine.
Yeah.
Jeff, thoughts?
I'm thinking of taking Night Terrors
Okay.
as a major.
And actually, I have one small correction. Points gained from taking hindrances are how you purchase benefits. So, I think later you can decide. Humans get a free starting edge, as noted in Savage Worlds, for each 2 hindrance points spent. Yeah. So in order to get, so you have 2 hindrances to buy another benefit. So later. So it's not for stats and stuff like that. I was incorrect. But Night Terrors, did you want to take any others?
Yeah,
Minors?
I'm looking. I think I'm going to take Talisman. Just wondering if I want to go major on that.
Let me double check one thing. Let me check your huckster and see if there's one that you need.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's a hindrance. There is a benefit that you'll probably need though.
Yeah, I'm going to take Talisman as a major. So I'm going to have Night Terrors and Talisman.
Okay. As a major, so that's another 2 points.
So I have 4 points.
Yep. So perfect. And then the next step, let me go back to character creation. Hindrance. The next step is attributes. So you do have all of the attributes start at a D4. So the way that Savage Worlds works is your characters actually have different sized dice for their abilities versus a bonus. So all of your abilities start at a D4. Each of the 5 attributes, which is agility, smarts, spirit, strength, and vigor. And you have 5 points to distribute among these attributes. Raising an attribute above where it is now, a D4 costs 1 point. So like if you want to go from a D4 to a D6, that's 1 point, and then it would be another point. So it's just 1 for 1, basically. And then you can't go above D12. That's why it's only D12 on the character sheet. And then you can use hindrances to where's one of these points. I wouldn't suggest that at this time. I'd wait until you look at the edges, but you can spend hindrance points to raise an attribute by anyone. 2 hindrance points to raise an attribute by any die type 2.
Yeah, and do you want to explain like what the difference? Because agility, smart, spirit, strength, and vigor.
You want to know what they do?
Yeah, I can explain too.
Well, let me do one thing really quick. I want to let Jeff know that for the huckster, they are required to have, is it just abilities or skills? Let me look real quick. I wanted to let him know if there's attributes that are required for the huckster, because I think there is.
On page 18, it looks like there is. There's an arcane
Yeah.
background for the huckster.
And that's a skill, not an
Oh,
attribute.
that's
so,
a skill. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's an edge, which is
Oh,
you'll need
that's
to
an
buy.
edge. Okay.
And then
Oh, I see
requirements.
that.
The requirements are novice, gambling, D6 or higher, and then spellcasting D4 or higher. So you'll need to buy those skills when we get to it.
Oh,
But it
okay,
doesn't
sorry.
look like it doesn't look like there's a stat requirement. So I think we're good there. As far as the stats, if you want to go ahead and explain the attributes, go ahead, Mike.
Sure. So the attributes, just because I mean, it depends on what background you have in terms of like gameplay and stuff like that. But agility is fairly, normal. You have your character's nimbleness, dexterity, and general coordination. Smarts is your raw intelligence, mental acuity, how fast you think on your feet, and also it's used to resist mental and social attacks. Spirit is self-confidence, backbone, and willpower. It's used to resist social and supernatural. Strength is physical power and fitness. It's also used as a basis for warriors' damage in hand-to-hand combat and determine how much they can wear or carry. And vigor represents endurance, resistance to disease, poison, or toxins, and how much physical damage they can take before they can't go on. And it's also most often used to resist fatigue effects, as it is the basis for the derived stat of toughness. At least according to the...
And if you're shooting, I believe agility is the main thing that you want, if I remember right.
Yep. Shooting is a good skill. It's also a skill too, I believe.
Yeah, but I believe it's you add the dice. I think you add the dice together, if I remember right. That's how the mechanic works. So high agility helps with your shooting.
Shooting guns. I think
So
it's good
what
to have gun
helps me
skills.
with the arcane stuff?
It would be your smarts,
Okay.
if I remember right. Let me double check. Or no, I think it's spirit. Sorry. It might be both to a degree. Let me look real quick.
So arcane skill is spellcasting is smarts.
Yep.
You have 3 starting powers, 10 power points.
I was right the first time.
So it's smart.
Yep.
So you have 5 points.
Yep. 5 points to distribute.
Are you spreading them out, Mike? Or are you?
I was thinking my guy was kind of a quick draw, but since he's used to taking on gangs and everything like that, I kind of imagine him more like rather than a duelist type guy where he sits at the end of town and shoots somebody. He's more of the goes into the town and he sees people in a building. He's the one fan in the gun. So high agility, not very high strength or vigor. Medium smarts and spirits, I guess. D6 for those. I really don't know how to describe the system yet. So
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going up to a 10 on anything.
yeah, I'm going to 10 on agility. I'm going all in for shooting and hope that I don't fall over in a wheezing asthmatic type attack.
Well, you are sickly, so you are ailing.
Yeah, I'm ailing. So if I can get my gun off and I don't burst into a fit of coughing, I might be able to get him.
So one thing to remember is you're looking at your stats. All of the skills are linked to a stat, which we can look up here. So you can't. It costs 2 points per die type to raise a skill above a linked attribute. So if a linked attribute like stealth, I believe, is linked to agility. So if you wanted to go to 12 in stealth, you would have to pay 2 points for that last point. Because it's you have to pay 2 points to go above the main stat, the governing stat, the link stat.
Mm-hmm. And you may spend 1 hindrance point to get an additional skill point.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm not spending any hindrance points at this point.
Edges are fun, so Most games, that's how it goes.
Okay. All right. So do you want us to explain what we're doing for skills, or do you want to
Sure.
just...
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm not ready to explain.
Oh, you mean, tell everybody where you guys kind of placed your stats, is what I thought you were asking.
Oh, no. So, okay. Yeah. So attributes, D10 for agility. Like I said, slinging gun a long time, still pretty good at it. Kind of second nature to him. D6 for smarts. Not exactly the smartest, tool in the shed, but that's okay. And D6 for spirit. I kind of imagine him as more spry and lean than, John Wayne-esque. So strength is D4 and vigor is D4, which will make for very interesting attempts to outlive my ailing
To survive. Yeah.
endurance.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I'm really gambling here. That's what I'm doing. So
All right. I took a D6 in agility. I've got a D8 in smarts, a D6 in spirits, a D4 in strength, and a D6 in vigor.
I think that makes sense. Yep. Okay. So you kind of know who the core attributes of your person is. So the next that we're going to move to is their actual skills, which skills are their innate abilities of most adult adventurers. It's the same sort of thing. All of your skills start at a D4. Or your character starts with a D4 in each of the core skills, which the core skills are athletics, common knowledge, notice, persuasion, and stealth. You can, of course, you get 12 points to use on skills. So you can use 1 for any of those skills that started at a D4. You do have to buy the skill initially if you want to buy a new skill. So for Jeff, you will have to, so for Jeff, you'll spend 1 point to get the D4 in spellcasting, I believe is what I'll have to check again. And then you can go from there. The skills list is in the core Savage Worlds book. It is not in the Deadlands book. But anyways, finish what I was saying. Raising a skill by any die costs 1 point, starting at D4. As long as it's no higher than an attribute to which it's linked, which it will tell you what the skill is linked to. I'll go in after and I'll fill it in on your character sheets for you guys. If a skill costs 2 points, if you want to raise it above the linked attribute. So for example, your spellcasting ability, if you want it to be higher than your smarts, that last point will cost 2 points instead of 1. Skills can be raised above D12, just the same. And you can spend 1 hindrance point to gain an additional skill point, like we mentioned already. And just for the record, knowledge skills that come from the Savage Worlds book, electronics and hacking aren't available in Deadlands, of course, because there aren't any computers. You can take hacking if you want to just take 5 points in a dead skill. Sure, I'll give it to you.
Hey, it would be a different kind of hacking. I'm telling you, that's all it is. Chop.
There is the trade skill, which kind of is a smarts-based skill that kind of covers generally what that is. And you can use it as you can make it specific, like blacksmithing, saloon owner, miner, etc. You can put the trade in parentheses, or it can be more of a general skill. And then there is really no language skill because it's mostly, if you really want to take out something other than American English, you can, but there really isn't a ton of reasons to in the Old West. So if you want to be the French fur trapper that no one understands, I guess you can go ahead and...
You could. All right. So,
I would love a game where a character was like, well, I only speak French, so you have to say everything to the other guy who has to take the French skill to understand you and speak English. So you okay, what do you tell him?
I worst part is I feel like there was a D&D game where the DM didn't really mention that they were real sticklers on everybody having the right language. And I thought there was an edition of D&D where like you didn't automatically get common.
There was. We ran into that problem in a game. We
Yeah, where it
did
was like-
that in one of
We
our
did?
games. Yeah, we did that in one of our games where it was like, oh, we all speak a different language and none of us have common.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I mean, I feel like that was, that happened more often.
And then there's
if
the
you
good
weren't paying
old
attention.
And then there's the good old I shapeshift into a goblin and go talk to them. Well, do you speak goblin? Well, no.
I just grunt and make savage.
I feel like there's a flaw in this plan.
The goblins look at you so confused. They have no idea what to expect from this.
Yeah. So, anyways, getting back on track. Mike, what skills did you pick?
I'm really debating here, but there's the skill boating. What's the likelihood that we're going to be on a river of any kind?
Odie?
Pretty much like if you took hacking in this particular instance.
Okay, pretty low, which is what.
As a matter of fact, if you really want to take boating, I'll give you a D4 in it for free.
You say that, motherfucker, I'm gonna make it work.
I just think you're gonna be irritating talking about boats all the time.
No, you are. Are there any boats nearby?
I
No,
assure
Mike.
you, you're in the middle of the desert. It's gonna be awful hard.
I don't know. You can get, ever heard of a sand skiff?
It would be awesome if you derailed a game that hard, though. The one shot. It would be awesome if you derailed it that hard.
I mean,
We just-
going back to Mothership,
just
skills
ride
are just
straight-
a wish list.
We just ride straight on through.
Well,
All the way to the coast.
are we in San Francisco yet? No. Why would we be in San Francisco? That's where the boats are, man. No. Right now, I still got a few more skills to pick, but I've got 4 selected in. And the one thing, if my memory serves, I think Savage World suffers from this a little bit, but like agility is a great skill to have. Because I think it affects a lot of like combat oriented things. I mean,
Yep,
if
it's a lot
anybody
of
in the
combat
comments-
oriented things. Yeah.
If anybody wants to remind me if that's not the case, but I thought I remember somebody saying like agility is kind of like the one.
I think
stat
it's the
that-
king stat. I think it's the king
Yeah.
stat. Well, it's the king stat. Agility
in a lot of
usually-
games.
In a lot of games, because it usually is tied to like you're fighting in somehow. So
Yeah. So right now I have shooting. Obviously I wanted to take some ability to shoot pretty well. Since I'm a bounty hunter, I like to be able to capture my quarry. Fighting a little bit, mostly that get you with a rabbit punch rather than just get into a lock-up brawl with you or anything like that. And then riding so far, because obviously I have to be able to ride a horse. I know that sounds silly, but chasing people, in the flatlands or whatever, you got to be able to ride properly.
yeah, basically I use the kind of the home rule of you probably know how to ride a horse and do basic stuff, but if you want to ever do anything fancy on your horse, it's probably good to have points in it.
Yeah.
Just riding a horse is a regular skill anybody would have. Riding a horse and jumping over things or making it do a backflip is probably gonna roll some dice.
Yep. So that's kind of that's where I'm at right now. I did take 2 in survival, so I'm actually at 4, 6, 8, 11. So I have one more to put, and I'm going to put it into persuasion. Why not? I'm going to take no extra stealth skills.
Awesome. I heartily support that. You're not a shadow runner. Good job.
Nope. So I do not hide in the shadows looking for my quarry. I kick the door in on the saloon. I spit in the spittoon, and then I go, "Anybody see one of the Clayton brothers?" And they're like that guy, and it points to the entire family sitting in the corner where I've interrupted their game of cards. You're all coming with me, and then it evolves from there.
And then you cough a lot.
And then I
And then you
pass
shoot
out.
them. And then you shoot them. Gotcha. It sounds like a game plan.
So there's my character in a nutshell.
It's the character arc. How about you, Jeff? What does your skills look like?
I bumped up common knowledge with one of them. I took spellcasting up to my smart, so a D8, so that was another 3 points. I took academics up to a D6, so there's 2. I've got gambling up to a D8, so there's another 3. And I've got shooting at a D6. And I'm trying to decide, I've got one more point that I can get to a D4, and I'm not sure what I want that to be.
I think that hanging point seems to be, if I remember right, when I've designed Savage World characters before, there's always been that hanging point where it's like, what do I do with this last one?
For a second, I thought about battle, and then I'm like, that's not really my character, so moving past that.
So if you take a point in battle, it'll be Jeff talking about Gettysburg constantly and you talking about boats.
I put that
Cool.
D4, that D4 of boating on my sheet, man.
You know what? I'm going to take a D4 in healing. I'm going to add healing. instead of
Probably,
battle.
probably not a bad call with your ailing companion.
Yep. It's all the time I spent on the water.
Yeah, so I almost took something to a D10, but having to pay that extra 2, paying the extra
Yep.
to get above, that hurts. That hurts.
You can spend a hindrance point though,
I want to.
but you should probably look at edges first.
I want to look at edges. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So
Yes.
I have spent 12 if I'm counting this right. The new skills, I had to pay 1 to get the D4. Common knowledge, I only had to pay 1 to go from 4 to 6.
Yep.
Okay.
So derived statistics, your pace, which I don't remember if I put on your character sheet, but pace probably on there somewhere, is equal to 6. Everybody has a pace of 6.
Okay.
Your parry is equal to 2 plus half your fighting die, rounded down. If you haven't taken fighting skill, it's a 2. So if you don't have a fighting skill, it's just 2.
Is shooting a fighting skill?
No, fighting is actually a skill in
A
its
skill.
own right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
So-
did not.
So
Yeah,
my
I have a
parry skill's
D6.
2.
So your parry is 2, yeah.
Okay.
And
And
you said
then
derived
pace
skill
is-
for parry was what?
parry
equal to-
is 2 plus half your fighting die. So
okay.
yeah.
So 5.
Yep. Rounded down, which
Yeah.
yeah. And then your toughness is equal to 2 plus half your vigor die, rounded down.
2 plus 3. I have 5 then in toughness.
Mike isn't so tough.
What are you at, Mike?
I sure talk tough. I'm at a toughness of 2. Thank you very
Nice.
much.
Oh boy, that'll be fun. All right, and once you have your derived stats, next is kind of where a lot of your customization comes from is your edges, which edges are like advantages or kind of like powers that you get to offset your hindrances. You do have one that you're required to take, Jeff, because of you're the huckster, which is the I don't remember what it's called. 1 second.
Oh, that was the one that I was talking about, right?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, you're correct. It is. I should just remember what page the huckster's on instead of the page that I do remember. You will need to take the arcane background huckster edge.
Arcane background huckster. Okay.
Yep.
And I need gambling at a D6. I need. Oh wait, did I miss something? Hang on.
There's a skill called novice that it looks like you need. Is that an actual skill, or is that a typo?
There's a skill that's called notice,
Did I?
but there's
Am I-
not a skill
There's
called novice.
gambling D6, spellcasting D4.
Let's see. Novice.
Requirements. You have to be you have to have basically novice in the arcane background, I think, because it says requirements novice. Let me see if I can find it in the original book.
Isn't that the level of like skills or traits or whatever it is?
Well, it says novice dash. Novice edge requirements back.
All right, so one of my edges is arcane background huckster.
Mm-hmm. What does novice mean?
I don't know.
Okay.
All of these have
Yeah, all the edges have
novice.
novice in front of them.
Okay. In general, player characters at the start of a Savage World campaign are of novice rank. They have little training and talent, but haven't had any adventures of their own yet. This bears repeating. Novice characters are novices. They have little more than skill, ability, but are only just beginning their careers.
Yeah,
Blah,
I
blah, blah,
remember
blah,
now.
blah.
You have to take it as your level in when you take the background initially. You take it as the novice, and then you can upgrade them later. You can go. You can take any novice edge of their background. So you
Oh,
basically
so
have
is that what the N is on the character sheet? For
correct,
edges? Okay.
correct. So you do get one free edge. Everyone gets one free edge, and then you can use your hindrance points to add extras.
All right, so I have arcane background huckster as a novice at a novice level. And I'm trying to look because I have potentially 4 points to spend here, right?
Yep. So that's your free one. And then, yeah, you have 4 points to spend.
Well, I didn't take taunt, so I'm not taking gallows humor.
Oh, that's too
It's
bad.
funny. Mike, you can take it.
No, I don't have taunt either. I don't really taunt people. I just shoot them. It is sad that the fan the hammer requirement is seasoned, so that is too bad.
So what I think I said that wrong. I think it's the level of dice you have. So requirements novice spirit D8 for the arcane, or that's arcane resistance. So yeah, you just have to be. It's just a starting skill for arcane background. So never mind. But seasoned is like a higher dice level, I believe.
Yeah, I think seasoned is yeah.
I don't remember, unfortunately.
Fan the Hammers in the Deadlands book, right?
Yeah.
Let me look.
I could take duelist, Mike. It doesn't help
Good.
unless I get into duels.
Well, because there's ranks of characters, right? Because I thought that's what it was. That's what it was all talking about there. But let's see. Okay, rank. So as a character gains advances, she goes up in rank. This is a rough measure of how powerful she is. Each rank allows access to more powerful edges and certain abilities such as powers.
Right. You're
So
right.
your rank is as 0 to 3 advances is novice, 4 to
Yep.
7 is seasoned, 8 to 11 is veteran, heroic, and legendary. So it really depends if you wanted to start us with more experienced characters, but I don't think it's necessary. It
No,
just
you're a novice. You're good.
I just wanted to. I was looking
Yeah.
at Fan the Hammer and I was like, seasoned? No, I don't have enough advances.
All
Well,
right,
thank
That's
you.
okay.
Thank you for clarifying. Yeah.
Oh, I had to look. I didn't remember that.
It is
so,
a new game, everybody. We will be learning a little bit as we go along, but
yeah. So you get to see
All
the
right.
warts and all of inexperience gaining experience at a game.
I did spend one of my points to take card sharp.
okay.
Well, I didn't think he was a duelist at the beginning, but since that's one of the main combat edges I can take.
Well, duelist just helps shooting in general, doesn't it?
Only in duels.
Yeah, only if you face me in high noon, end up in the boneyard. That sounds pretty cool though. In a duel, the hero receives 2 extra hole cards at the start of the throwdown. Whatever a hole card is. Ooh, quick draw. I could do quick draw. That sounds pretty much in line with what I was looking for.
Yep. Ooh, makes you better at interrupting people.
Yeah.
So that is the thing. Also about Savage Worlds is the action economy is based off of cards. So, like initiative and stuff involves cards. So that's what that kind of relates to. Spending a Benny for an additional action card at the beginning of the round, you may choose your final action card from any of the available choices. So those action cards are what you can kind of manipulate a little bit with the quick draw. I'll have to read that again. Those rules again before Monday. So you took arcane background. What else? And you took card sharp. What else did
Yes.
you take, Jeff?
I was just looking at knack. Since I have some points to spend. If you take Born on All Hallows Eve, you can spend Conviction to reroll a critical failure.
Which, I would take.
I was actually thinking about taking Breach Birth. I can spend a Benny to use the healing power, and I don't need to roll. I automatically get a single success.
Oh, yeah. That's good. That would be good.
I think I'm going to do that. And the requirement only is that it's novice.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been finding any, Mike?
I got my quick draw, and I was because basically I have 2 hindrance points to spend on something else here, and it seems like because of my character's build so far, there is a little bit of a limitation on some of the things that he can take.
Well, yeah, I spent some points, and I still have. I mean, I got my free one, and I've spent 2. Sorry, go ahead and talk.
I'm just saying I don't really have a.
Well, you can use them to improve some of your abilities, but there are other ones besides combat ones.
Yeah. Well, and there's also edges in the book too, so it's not like there's not plenty of edges to choose from.
Oh, I didn't even look in the. Honestly,
Yeah,
I didn't even look in the Savage Worlds book.
Yeah, there are ones in there, but like I said, you don't need to take them. You don't. It sounds like you have a pretty good idea what you wanted. So.
Yeah, I just at this point I'm just kind of since I've got the quick draw, I'm kind of deciding if I want to do that or if I want to choose another edge or just improve some of my skills. I could spend
6. Oh, it's a D6. I could take attractive and very attractive.
You're the handsome card sharp. That's what they call him, the handsome.
You could take brave, Mike.
I could take brave.
So many horrors that you become jaded. Plus 2 to fear checks and subtract 2 from fear table results.
Yeah, I mean that was a pretty good one. I was also looking at all these legendary edges, which obviously fast as lightning,
which we can't take, or I can't take. I'm not going to speak for your character. I can't take.
We already discussed this novice thing into the ground, didn't we?
No, I think we probably need to
go over it again.
Revisit this.
We need to go over it again.
One more time.
What is this novice word you're talking about?
Novice? What a strange word.
Brent, I'm going to take luck.
Okay.
What's the etymology of that word?
Oh, God.
All right.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, if your character wasn't half dead, Mike, I would suggest the soldier one, but that requires a 6+ vigor.
Yeah, exactly. I was looking at it kind of looking at hindrances and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, there it is. I was like, I see a young one, but I don't see an old one. What is there no old people that live in Savage Worlds? But I could take another 2 points and just be an old bounty hunter being elderly.
Yeah. An ailing old bounty hunter? Man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hell yeah. Elderly for 2 points. Ailing and elderly. I am like the worst traveling companion.
Brent, I'm going to take calculating as a combat.
Sounds good.
Seems helpful for me.
I hope your Dr. Huckster enjoys traveling with Mike's character.
Not really a doctor, but yeah, I can heal myself. I did take the breach birth. knack.
I expect you to say, "Man, you look like shit" a lot to Mike's character.
Sure, you're
Oh, this
feeling
is
okay?
amazing. Your character is getting on in years, but he is not quite ready for the nursing home yet. Sounds like it. His pace is reduced by 1. Okay, so that's down to 5. And he subtracts 1s from running rolls. Okay, that sucks. And he also suffers a -1 penalty to agility, strength, including damage, and vigor rolls. But not link skills.
Oh, good for you.
I'm on death's doorstep. I might do my edges and stuff like that. I might spend
If
some
you-
attribute points.
Yeah, or if you need to redo them, or you decide to change your mind, you can. But it is a one shot, so it sounds like
I
it
am
might be fun.
definitely going to be an old, over the hill bounty hunter that doesn't know when to quit, and definitely should have by now. Problem is he never got enough money to quit. He's always chasing that.
They just
that
keep
big
pulling
bounty.
you. They just keep pulling you back in.
What was the? It was. I think it was like Cowboy Bebop, where every time they got a score, it ended up basically being that all the money they would make from their bounty would have to go into the ship or anything like
Yeah.
that, and they'd have just enough money to have like grilled green peppers and onions, and not
Yep.
even meat or anything.
One party night, and that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the bounty. Basically, this guy is that lived that entire life to the end, and now he's just too old to keep it going. But I do appreciate my D4 in boating.
Hey, that's a whole skill point, man. If you put any hindrance points in it, I'm not to blame. All right. Once you got your edges picked out, the next is this is a part that you can probably do on your own, or we can do. But the next part is gear. So you each start with the clothes on your back, which is whatever you want to look like, and currency. Each character gets $250 to spend on gear you'd like to pick out. So if you want anything fancy, you can do that.
$250 bucks. Gotcha.
De Niro.
So, and do you know in this game, like, do I come with like a set of clothes, or do I have to buy my clothes?
You
out of the
have
game?
you have clothes. You have the clothes on your back, whatever you want them to look like.
Okay.
But if you want to buy anything else, you're gonna purchase it within reason. Like if you have an idea of something you want to have that's like a personal object, we can probably talk about it. But if you want to buy things like guns, stuff like that, that'll all cost money.
Okay.
$250, and I think gear is all
your
in.
quick draw holster is almost 4 times as expensive as a regular holster, Mike.
Your boat is pretty expensive. But I believe all of the gear is actually in the Savage Worlds book.
Oh, there's some gear on the cheap.
Is there
seeing
some?
Yeah, I'm seeing
Yeah.
some. Page 26,
26, 27, yeah.
25, starts at 25. Gear and goods.
Oh, okay, there it is. I passed it. It looks like.
Oh, it's okay. I was looking at stuff.
Yeah, you should probably stick to that. It's a lot cheaper than the stuff in the core book.
Spending
I haven't
modern day
got to-
prices.
Holy nuts! The horse is 150, Mike.
I will give each of you do have a horse. I will give you a horse.
Okay.
As long as your first act of business isn't to sell your horse for $200.
No, but can my horse be half as old as I am?
Yes.
I'm going to sell my horse for 150. I'm going to steal the next horse I find. I'm going to sell it for 150.
It's the old riffs calculation. Okay, I'm gonna start as a glitter boy. Okay, I'm gonna sell my glitter boy armor for $1 billion.
Exactly.
I'm no
Then
longer a glitter boy, but I'm
and then
now
I'm-
rich.
I'm no longer a glitter boy, but now I own a country.
Hey, Mike, barbed wire is only 5 cents a yard.
Jesus.
Not a
I
bad
think
deal.
we might want to have some barbed wire.
I
That's
feel
what I'm
like
saying.
the huckster that carries spools of barbed wire might be a character-defining trait. What are you doing with all that barbed wire? I like to build fences.
I like to string it between trees when I'm being followed.
Oh God.
Yeah, take the
Sorry,
shortcut.
was that
Take
too
the
much?
shortcut.
Yeah, was that? But I mean, 5 cents a yard. That's. Oh yeah, no. If we want lanterns, lockpicks, matches, mess kits, I can see how this adds up.
Yep.
A toolkit, weird science. Ugh. And a gold watch.
I will say I will request that you buy ammo, but I'm probably not going to keep that much of a like track of it. If you're
Honor
firing
system.
if you're firing a 6-shooter, I will probably call you out if you go for that 7th shot. But I'm probably not going to say you don't have it on you to reload.
Okay, so what's the likelihood?
We'll set that
I
expectation.
see the ammunition. Okay.
Okay. Now, as an old man, what's the likelihood that I found a Gatling gun in my travels?
You did not. You can buy one.
I don't see it.
Can I take it? Can I get an IOU for that, or?
Yes, it's as good as your
Hey,
boat skill.
Hey, Mike, you're so old that you can get percussion caps for cap and ball weapons.
Gatling guns have its own section, Jeff. If you go to
Oh, do
page
they?
29, it's the bottom.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't get far enough. Oh my God, it is there. Sorry.
Yeah. Because Gatling pistols are a thing. If you're an agent, you start out with a Gatling pistol,
Oh, okay.
which is
Minimum
$400. So why your agent character doesn't just sell that and buy a cheaper gun and have an extra couple $100 in his packet? I don't know.
Rifle and carbine drums cost $5, Mike, and they weigh 7 pounds loaded.
We also were doing a little bit of the honor system on the weight stuff. I'm not going to go into your character sheet and calculate it all, I don't think.
The Gatling shotgun's $1,000.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a lot of shotgun blasts.
That is a lot of shotgun.
Oh, dynamite.
Derringer's only 5.
Okay, dynamite has a 1 in 4 chance of exploding if it takes 6 or more points of damage, including being caught in a separate explosion. It costs $3 per stick. Oh.
Barbed wire and dynamite. Man, you guys are great. You're fantastic. Barbed wire and dynamite. That's going to be the name of this scenario
Yeah,
now.
that's our TV show.
Barbed wire and
dynamite.
Barbed wire and dynamite. So you guys can take the time to pick your gear. I don't think we need to record that necessarily.
Sure.
Background details. If you have any background details, you can throw in. You can do that off camera as well, and put those on your character sheet, and then we can talk about them when we play on Monday. But the last thing I think we should talk about that you do need to do in character creation is your character's worst nightmare. And the description is, finally, think a bit on what really scares your hero, what he's afraid of, and why. Now think about what kind of dream makes him wake up with a cold sweat at night. Write it down. For no reason, really. No reason. Just trust us.
So, what do you have, Jeff? Do you have a nightmare that keeps your character sweating?
I'm gonna
at
have
night?
to think on. I'm gonna have to think on that a little bit. Nothing is immediately leaping to mind. I don't mind talking it out. I'm not.
Well, it'll also
discuss
it will be important for your character, especially because your character has night terrors. So you should probably think about that a little.
I'm thinking.
So, but we can do that. We can do that off camera too. We can give you some time to think about that, and we can review it on Monday as well when we play.
Horse thieving's a hanging offense, Mike.
Horse thieving is a hanging offense.
Horse thieving.
Oh yeah,
hanging offense.
100%. So how detailed do you want that to be? Like, because like I feel like an elderly character that hasn't really made a name for themselves, like the fear of their legacy seems like a fairly, like he's basically the fear of basically just being another name that just gets erased with the passage of time once he's dead. Like
That's valid.
That's a fairly valid fear, and especially since he's at the end of his life, I could easily see that being like.
How old is your character? Like 55? Like what's old in the Old West?
He's 30. I don't
30, 25.
30, but looks like he's 70. They wrote him hard back then.
In the Wild West America, considered roughly mid to late 19th century, old age was generally considered to begin much earlier than today, often around 50 years old.
Okay. Then because he is one foot in the coffin, let's make him 65.
Oh, Jesus.
How old is the oldest horse?
Like, you're old. Like, you. Oh,
So,
man.
but he's out of time. Like that's the fear. Like he's got he's got so
I think
little
that's-
left in the tank.
I think that's great. Like, like your contemporaries are gone. Like, a lot of the guys that you like knew when you were younger are gone.
Even people that I helped I arrested, they're gone. They were hung or they died of natural causes.
I think that's
And
an excellent.
nobody
I think
knows
that's
who
excellent.
I am.
Yep, I think that's excellent.
Fear
Jeff,
of legacy.
You can think on yours and let us know on.
Yeah,
Monday.
I'm gonna think on mine.
But yeah, so there we have Deadlands characters created for the Savage Worlds Adventure Edition game type.
Ooh,
We're all-
quick question. Do we have a conviction somewhere?
Conviction, I think, is
character
the same sort of thing. I can't remember where.
Because I have it on my character sheet and I just noticed that.
I made these characters, so I don't necessarily know. Oh, conviction is actually a number. I will find out what you how many conviction points you get.
Oh, okay. That's fine. I just wanted to make sure because I saw it and it was a similarly sized cell and I was like, ooh. What
Yeah, I thought it was a writing prompt, but it appears that it is a actual. It's more like Benny's, it looks like, but I'll find out what that is and let you know. It does look like you do get, and that's important for your character because Aelin, it looks like you do get some conviction. The good news is you gain an immediate point of conviction. The bad news is you choose when or how your character dies during the session.
Hopefully it's leaving a legacy. Are you
Well,
ready,
at least we know how the adventure ends for one person.
we're here to play how it out.
Wow, you have been playing a lot of Mothership, Mike.
Yeah. Wow. I just found a edge I
did.
could have taken. I'm
Well-
not going to. I'm not going back. It's
Too much mothership.
Oh boy,
High score of 1.
well.
high score of 0.
This feels mothershipy too. It's Whately blood. I can as a huckster I can use blood magic.
Oh wow.
A huckster with Whately blood can voluntarily suffer a fatigue level for 5 power points or a wound for 10. This is done exactly as you'd think, by cutting, carving, or otherwise maiming themselves as a free action, which makes it pretty messy.
Oh cool. You get cut yourself as a free action. That's good. That's good to know.
I did not take that. I decided not to. I don't get me wrong. That's pretty powerful to get power points like that.
It is. Yeah.
5
it
or
is.
10. Yeah.
Conviction.
But I did not
feels-
take that. But yes, I will think about my.
Yeah, think about your fear. Think about your gear, and then we'll be all ready for when we play on stream.
Yes, I'll be ready for Monday. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun.
I like
think so.
westerns. So I think this is
Yeah,
gonna be-
you're the big Western fan. I have watched quite a few Westerns to kind of prepare for this. I even watched one weird one called Gallow Hunters. Have you ever either of you heard of this movie?
I've not heard of that one.
It's got Wesley Snipes in it, and it's got people that can't die in it. It's really kind of strange. Like he kills these people and they come back. So it's very strange Western movie. He's like a gunslinger, and it's very weird. But
Well, in case you're wondering, because I was feeling a little nostalgic, I did watch both the Vampire Hunter D movies, which are also take place in a future Western.
Sure.
like, yeah, they're Westernish. Yeah,
Yeah, well,
They've got Western
I mean,
trappings, right?
yeah.
I mean, most of the people are wearing like, Western clothing throughout the
Yeah.
movies. So, especially when you're watching Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, you basically are met with, everyone wearing their frilly collars and shit like that.
Well, I thought it was more Victorian for most of that. Is what I guess but I haven't watched Vampire Hunter D in ages.
It it seems to be the common consensus that it's kind of a Western theme period that they got to. I was surprised because I hadn't watched Vampire Hunter D in a few years, but I was like, what is the story here? I know I started reading the books, but apparently if you get deep into the lore, it's like humans, vampires fall after aliens invade, and then they like it just gets convoluted at some point, and then now it's like post-apocalyptic future Western. Good luck.
So, and this is an aside, or we can talk about. Well, we'll mention it. I'll talk to you about it after, but yeah, just weird movies. Like Gallow Hunters is maybe one of the weirdest Wesley Snipes movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've never even heard of it.
I also watched
semi-recent, or is it?
It's older.
Okay.
I also watched The Hateful Eight, which is a good Western.
I love The Hateful Eight.
What else did I watch? I watched a couple others. Oh, The Burrowers. Have either of you seen that? It's a Western. It's a Western horror movie about monsters under the ground. It's a weird West. So it's very, very suitable
Tremors.
for Deadlands.
Sure.
No, because they're like people.
Oh, okay.
And they stick their head out of the ground and like bite people and paralyze them and then eat them.
Yikes.
It's very weird. It's very strange. It's a very strange movie. But yeah, it's called The Burrowers. And it's weird because they keep saying like the Burrower tribe. And it's like, well, they're monsters, not Native Americans. it's weird. And I watched Ravenous, which is my favorite Western movie. Kind of weird West movie.
That's about the Donner Party ish, right?
It's the Wendigo myth. Where the guy takes he eats people. Yeah. But he gets stronger, and there's the reluctant war hero who he was buried in bodies and he accidentally drank the blood of his compatriots, and so he was extra strong to kill and that's how he won the battle, but like he's not very happy about it.
No, I bet.
No, I haven't seen that movie in a long time, but that was pretty
Is
good.
Guy Pearce in that?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
I
I've seen
love Ravenous is on one of my lists as far as movies.
Oh.
Yeah. It's also got David Arquette in it.
Did you happen to?
You had me at Guy Pearce. You're losing me a little bit with David Arquette. I do think I've seen it.
David Arquette plays the stoned guy in the fort, and he just giggles and dies in the movie, I think. So it's quality.
This might give
sounds
me an
appropriate.
excuse to finally watch Bone Tomahawk.
Bone Tomahawk is also a good movie. It's a bit slow in my opinion.
I've heard it's a little bit slow and then oddly unnecessarily savage in parts.
Oh, it's really violent. It's super violent. That's where the horror part comes in. It's super gory. But it's pretty slow because, well, the guy, yeah, no, it's pretty gory. Yeah, take that. And this is me saying it's pretty gory.
Yeah, no.
So,
If you're,
be aware.
I'm just telling you what I've heard. I know a few people that like it.
It's like I like it. It's like the end of the Hateful Eight. It's that gory. Like the end of the Hateful Eight is pretty gory.
Oh, there's blood all over that cabin.
Yeah.
Did you happen to watch Wild Wild West preparing for this?
The TV series, or
and
the
on that
movie
note,
doesn't exist, Mike.
And on that note, I feel like we should go ahead and close it out.
I have watched most of the TV series of the Wild Wild West from the 60s. I recommend it. It is campy.
I love the TV
formulaic.
series.
I do
love the TV series with Jim West doing Wild Wild West things. Yep, doing Wild Wild West things. I do not like to talk about the movie that doesn't exist, as you said, starring Will Smith.
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
Dude, they had the star, they had the property, they just needed a script that was not absolutely ridiculous. And they went with the script that was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. I should watch it just to make sure it's to see if it's as bad as I remember it is.
I haven't seen it in many, many years, but I have to say it was when I watched it the first time. That was one of the first times in a while I'd been like, I walked out of a theater being like, "What the fuck did I just watch? And why did I stay there the entire time?"
I was so
wasn't as
excited
bad
to
as
see
Avatar:
that.
The Last
So
Airbender.
angry leaving.
I remember watching the show and being like, "Man, that was bad. I don't like Wild Wild West." And then I thought about it and I was like, "Wait a minute. That was based off something I loved as a kid. Oh my god, I'm horrified. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So,
But
all right, with that, I think we're pretty good. Well, I appreciate everybody that's made it to 1 hour into some quick character creation, mucking about for Deadlands that we're
that
going
was
to be
pretty
playing next
quick
week.
for a
Yeah, pretty quick.
traditional for a trad RPG. That's pretty quick.
Yeah,
It isn't
that's
like
not too
Mothership
bad.
quick. It's not Mothership quick, but what is?
No, it wasn't too bad though. We've got a
No,
little
no, it was
homework
pretty
to
quick,
do,
and
but
we got a little homework, but not tons. So Jeff, do you want to tell people where to continue the conversation?
yeah, you can find us on most social media platforms. We are at Rollwise. If you go to one and don't find us at Rollwise, send us a message, and maybe we'll add an account. Maybe we'll get Mike doing TikToks now that it's not banned. Or they could just email us, rollwiseguys@gmail.com.
And as always, thank you for joining us. We're always glad to have you here with us at our table. And roll well, roll wise, and be safe out there. Thank you, everybody.